channel and some more film photography capers. It's bloody windy. This is Storm Francis. It's battering the UK at the moment, and I'm down a place called Freshwater Bay where I've got my Nikon F90X and a roll of HP5 that I'm purposely going to push to 1600 just so I can get some faster speeds in the film for these crashing waves. I've said about pushing film before, some people don't like it, some people do it creatively, and some people do it because they have to do it. The only roll of film that I had inside in my house today was a HP5 400 speed, and that's not going to be fast enough for today. So I'm deciding to push it to 1600 just so I can get some faster shutter speeds in the camera so I can get some of these waves frozen in motion, hopefully. And it's bloody bright on the sea, so I bought a polarizing filter out. Hopefully that'll filter some of the solar rays coming down onto the sea and give me some better photography. Before I carry on, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so you get a notification next time I post a video. Cheers! So the sun's not going to change position, so I need to set this polarizer up first so I'm not getting no nasty reflections off the sea, and then stick the lens hood on and then be careful of any sea spray because that stuff's going to keep coming onto my lens. So let's get this set up first. The sun's just started to come out, so I don't need to push to 1600 as much as I was going to. I only need a one-stop push to 800, which is giving me f11 at 500th of a second, so that's quite nice. So I'm just waiting for that sea to crash around the rock. There it goes there. There's spray all over my lens now. Mate, this is mental. I'm gonna go over there. I'll tell you, I haven't got long. The tide's coming in and it'll come right up to here in the next half hour or so. Whee! So I'm pretty done with that side. I'm going to walk over to the other side of the beach and we'll get a few from there. I'm going to shoot this shit out of this roll of film. You can see I'm over the other side now. Just walked all the way from over there so I can get some longer shots of that scene. Just keep having to wipe my lens. Whoa. So this time I'm going to use the polarizer against the clouds. So I've pointed it up towards a cloud, well, pointing the camera towards a cloud, and then let the, I've done a circle, turned it around until the clouds start to pop. So let's see how we get on here. No. Just for my own satisfaction, see what happens. I've taken the polarizer off now. I've got another 10 shots or so left. So I'm going to shoot the rest of these without the polarizer just so I can see if it was worth bringing the polarizer down today. So that was fun and games down the beach. It wasn't as windy as I anticipated. The storm Florence, no not Florence, what was it? Francis. Oh dear. I'm doing a behind the scenes video as well, so those guys are going to have some fun. So that was all fun and games down the beach. It wasn't as stormy and as windy as I'd hoped for, but that storm Francis kicked in that night and it blew me washing line over. It was real bad last night, but when I went, I think it was just about right for what I wanted to get some nice crashing waves in the film can. So I'll show you the negs. I've already developed these. I developed these in X-Tol, 1 part to 1 part for 14.5 minutes. Now that was a a one-stop push to 800. I went on a massive dev chart. For those who don't know what the massive dev chart is, it's just a guide for film shooters to develop their own film and what times and what speeds and what film. I'll put a link in the description if you're new to shooting film. But these are the negs that I've came back with. I'm anticipating them to be a little bit grainy, but not too much because I pushed the film. But I'm also anticipating them to be a little bit contrasty as well. When you're pushing film, you're not really getting more light into the camera, you're just crushing everything, you know, so your shadows are getting lost and your highlights are kind of popping out even more than they would be. So I'm anticipating to get some punchy images on paper when I start making some prints in the darkroom. But the first thing I need to do is make a contact print of these negatives so I can see what the exposures are, and if I do my contact print correctly, it will tell me exactly how my photography went on that day. It will show me exactly what my exposures were on the contact sheet. I'll put a link in the description to one of the other videos that I made, how to make a proper contact sheet. So let's get on. I'm going to make a contact sheet of these negs and I'll show you afterwards. See, the top of the rock is going to be pretty much black. That's inevitable. You can see it's white in colour. Reverse that, that's going to be pretty much jet black. The skies look okay to me. They look probably quite black on the... No, you can see it there. I've got detail in the skies, and if I come down to this area here, we've got the shadow here from the rock. The rock itself is quite light. It was a white rock if you remember, and the sandy part or the stones here are quite dark, and all the sea. So I've got bags of tone. All the sea here is white with tone in it and detail as well. So I've got bags of tone going on with this. I need to make a test print to see how long I need to make a first print, and then after that I need to decide how much dodging and burning I need to do to make it a final print. Let's have a look. Okay, so well, the negative's more overexposed than I thought. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. It's just nothing's going on. So I'm going to start clutching at straws and putting small test strips in until I can build this rock and see where I want to go from there. So the rock is pretty much where I'm aiming at, and then I can work around the rest of the print. But 10 seconds certainly ain't going to cut nothing on a test strip. So I'm going to put one on for 20 seconds and see how we get on. So I did one more test print at 20 seconds there, just a small one, and just to satisfy myself and see where we're going with the waves, I did another one, 5x7 paper on the baseboard, projected that for 20 seconds. The rock, it's all looking nice, even the sea's looking nice. It's grainier than I thought, I must admit. HP5 pushing that 800 in the X-tail 1 part to 1 part has brought out some grain, but that's okay. It's an edgy image, so we're pretty cool with that. I think I'm going to go for a whole print, but the only thing I do need to do, I just want to try and burn these areas here, which I'm going to use a contrast 5 filter for, and a burn tool such as that. Just a little bit of card with a hole in so I can burn more light onto these areas just to make these pop a little tiny bit more. Okay, so 20 seconds. Let that go. Small burn tool just around the bottom, a dodge tool, just dodge the bottom a little bit. Like so. Now we get the burn tool out, put a contrast 5 filter in. If I can get them properly, I need to turn this light off so I can see what I'm doing. I'm just hitting over the white parts of the negative, which would be the darker areas, so I'm just going to shade it all over, see what it does to the sea. And I'll put the 2.5 grade filter. I'm just going to pop that sky a little tiny bit. I've got a feeling I just need to pull that sky out a bit. I'm just going to use my hand to cover, just gradient, try and miss that rock, just chop a bit more into the sky, curve it in, see how that works. Tongs, put them back, and this is just fresh water going over it. It's only a resin paper, but plastic, so it's just going to, water's just going to roll off. It's not going to soak into it. So this has come out far better than I expected. There is quite a bag of grain going on in the sky, which I kind of expected. You're pushing a 400 film to 800 and developing an X-Tol, so I kind of expected that. So we've got the sea going on. I managed to burn in the sea areas, got those little tiny bit more black and made them pop against the white. I've got nice detail and tone going on in the white water, and also dodged this area you noticed on the black sand, just so I could pull, or the black stones, just so I can pull some information on the print down there. The rock there, it's all there, the big splash wave going on, nice fast shutter speed like we shot, and yeah, I'm really happy with the way it's come out. So that was my darkroom session making that print. There's the contact print that I made at the start of the video. Not too bad. The images have come out quite nice. They look quite smart on the contact print, what I would do, because they're only thumbnails. And then when I started to blow them up, that 35mm neg, you can start seeing the grain and the grunge coming into the print. But this is the print that you saw me making under the enlarger, and it's quite a nice print too. I mean, you know, it was rough seas. I pushed the film one stop, which enabled me to shoot at 500th of shutter speed, maybe 250th. I could have shot at 400 and shot at 250th, but I don't think I would have got the sea looking as sharp and as frozen in motion as I did there when it was splashing on that rocks. You know, you go out with these things in your mind, and that's what you stick with. And then I made a second print. The guys that follow me on Patreon and on my community channel, you'll see me making this in the darkroom as well as behind the scenes of this video. So that was the second print I made. I quite like that. Needed to do a little tiny bit of burning in on the sky, but I avoided it in the end because I didn't want to overspill onto the cliffs, which look quite nice. So that came out all right as well. And the last print I made, which is overlooking Stag Rock, from the second location where I was. I had to do a little tiny bit of burning in on the sand area and also around the sea, and just very slightly in the sky, just so it doesn't blend in with the colour of the paper. So you can just see a tone in the sky there as well. Albeit all these prints are quite grainy because of the push and the process that I used. X-Tol, I mean, God knows, God forbid if I used rod null, could you imagine what it would look like then? But normally I wouldn't use HP5 on a seascape. Like I said, it was only because I needed to get that extra bit of speed into the film and also shoot a smaller aperture. I ended up with f11s and f16s, and it was quite a rushed shoot as well, with the spray hitting the lens. I kind of found myself running around trying to get as many shots in as I could in a small amount of time. And like I said at the start of the video, I wanted to shoot the shit out of the film, and that's what I did. Anyway guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. If you did watch to the end, don't forget I've got more stuff on Patreon and also on the community channel where you can join there as well, and I'll catch you next time.